Hello, friends. I think this is episode 17. Welcome to the podcast. This is a podcast about the journey to launch. And this episode is an exciting one because I've just got back from Phoenix for Brooke Castillo's Life Coach Live event. I know a lot of people have been following her for years and have also wanted to attend her event. She is a master certified life coach and she runs a life coach school, and she has been an idol and a mentor for many successful entrepreneurs, millions of women as well, who have created businesses of their own and just have been able to live an elevated life because of what she teaches in managing your brain. This is the first personal development and mindset mentoring event that I've ever been to ever since entering the world of e-commerce and entrepreneurship. And so it was not a terrifying event to go through, but it was also just like, oh my God, it's my first event where I get to meet, I'll be in a room full of other entrepreneurs who are also building their own businesses and have $1 million mindset. It is so crucial to be around the people that you want to be like and also the visions that you see for yourself. Sometimes it's not enough to just have that in your own brain. You also need to be sitting in a room full of people who share that same vision. It makes such a difference to bringing that vibe back. So I'm taking advantage of the energy that I have right now. Got back last night, but I want to continue having this energy. This is why I'm going to record this podcast and probably listen to it again like every week or something. This podcast is going to be the 10 key takeaways I got from Life Coach Live. I sat on the plane on the way back and have been going through my notes over and over again, thinking about all these different trainings and webinars and courses and podcasts that I can create from all these different notes that I took. And this last night I sat down with it again and I was just writing down all my key takeaways. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do one podcast with all these key takeaways because I believe it is a collection of not only lessons, but quotes, but also some, mindset practices that you can also use in your business right now, no matter where you are at with it, and also where you are with life, whether you haven't even thought of creating your own business and whether you haven't even thought of the fact that you have unlimited potential and also this secret urge inside of you. So hopefully this can help you explore that. So I'm going to go through 10 key takeaways that I wrote down. I have not scripted this at all. I just wrote down like 10 things that I really loved from the event. And hopefully that can help you. So number 1, the way you outlast doubt is with desire. I think a lot of people who are going through their life we encounter doubt every day. You know, from the moment we get up to doing anything that we feel like doing, there's something in their brain that tells us, oh, like this is more comfortable. And the way we need to overcome that is first with awareness, but then also training your brain and intentionally thinking about the thoughts and beliefs you can have to, expand that desire so much that it outweighs any doubt that you have. And I have been training my brain to do this every day, where I just have so much desire to do something that I don't even think about what can possibly fail me or prevent me or stop me from doing that. And this is kind of like the idea of something being so fun and you being so curious about something. You don't even think about the risk. I mean, think about when you were a kid or when you go traveling or when you're doing something that you're just so excited to do. You don't even think. You don't even give yourself a second to think about, oh, what if this? No, you're just so excited about doing it. So desire. Make your desire so big. Get so excited about something and find what it is that gets you so excited to do something. What are you infatuated with that you don't even think or even you don't even allow the chance for doubt to come into your life? Number 2, this is for me. I need to actually start doing more visualization every day. I realize that I always have, I sit down and do my goals, my vision, whatever, but I don't visualize. And maybe this is actually something that can help me be more, paying more attention to my actual goals and tasks every day, because I don't visualize. I don't actually spend enough time visualizing. So I think this is going to be a step up of my game on how I can actually start actioning things, because if I visualize my future, what I want to create every morning, starting every day with my visualization, I think this is going to help me. And I can feel it. I can feel it too, because I've tried lots of different things on doing my goals, setting my goals, being productive, whatever. But I think visualization might be a skill that actually helps me get to this. So if you've been trying a lot of different things to be productive every day and get focused every day, if you haven't tried visualizing every day, I would encourage you to do this practice with me. So let's get on it. 3, your relationship with anything is your thoughts about it. I'm gonna sit with that for a moment. Your relationship with anything is your thoughts about it. Isn't that fascinating? I think it's really cool because we don't ever sit to think about like what our relationship with anything could be. We don't even think about like, what is my relationship with my laptop? What is my relationship with money? What is my relationship with food? What is my relationship with like brushing my teeth? Like the simplest things in your daily doings. What is your relationship with that? And it is basically your thoughts. It really is. And I think this has always been something that's at the back of my mind because I've always been this person that's self-aware, but I think there's always a level of self-awareness that everyone has. And this has helped me jump, I guess, a level of self-awareness where I'm actually looking at things now as a thought relationship. So if you think about your next habit or thing that you want to do literally right now as you listen to this, what's the next thing you're going to do after you listen to this podcast? The next thing I want to do is go swimming. And my thought about that is like, I'm going to go swimming. Like that's my thought relationship with it. The way I see swimming is like, my thought about swimming is it brings me, it helps me feel alive, helps me feel healthy. And I'm excited about it. That's my thought about it as well. And so your relationship with anything is actually your thought about it. Nothing about it, an object or an activity, whatever, is true or false. It's just how you think about it. And I would encourage you to think about this too with everything you're doing in your day, whether it's a job, whether it's a career, whether it's an email, whether it's making a sale, whether it's walking out on the street. Your thought about it is your relationship with it. Number 4, I wrote down the number 4, it doesn't make too sense. So I'm going to try and rephrase this. So at the event, I think Brooke was training people or coaching people on, how we leave certain dedications and commitments to chase another. And a lot of people were fighting with this idea of like, oh, I have to leave my job as an accountant to become a life coach, or how do I become a mother and I can't pay attention to being a life coach? So she brought everyone, she brings up this idea of like, we leave what we know, or we sort of give up a commitment of who we have been in order to chase something else. And I think this is so important is in our journeys as entrepreneurship that we need to realize that we leave certain commitments, we leave certain desires to chase something greater. And we realize this all the time, every day, day in, day out. We trade off something in order to chase something greater that we desire, something that we are more excited about. And so the line here is, we need to give up who we have been for who we want to become. I love this phrase, and I love the way I'm going to put it to you now is that we trade off what we know in order to chase a greater being, in order to chase a greater being of ourselves. And this is anything. Like right now, I'm looking at like 2 different jobs that I can have, and I'm going to look at the one that's going to give me a greater sense of just greatness, a greater sense of like who I am. And I'm always willing to give up a current commitment or what I have known or what I have been doing if something else is going to give me a feeling of greater greatness, because my sort of purpose, my sort of mission, my sort of feeling is that I want to be greater every day. Every day I want to be that 10% greater than yesterday. And whatever I do today is going to be that trade-off from yesterday, right? Like if yesterday I ate this, I'm going to eat something better today. If yesterday I only walked 10 minutes, I'm going to walk 12 minutes today. So I'm going to give up something that I did in the past, not give it up, but like I'm going to look at what I did previously and chase greatness. So maybe you're facing 2 roads right now, and maybe it's a trade-off of what you already know to chase greatness. Number 5, the worst that can happen is disappointment. And that's just a feeling. And this was such a good slap in the face for me, because we all face so many fears and we look at our list of goals and things we need to do, and we're always finding ways to do the easier thing, to do the more guaranteed thing of success, and we go around the one thing that actually will give us greatness and growth and potential and results that we have not thought that we could achieve or believed into achieving. Because doing that one thing, for example, can go two ways. There's just as much chance of doing that one thing that can result in disappointment as it can result in a greater thing that you haven't thought of, or a greater you. And if you look at the things that you've been avoiding doing, actually give yourself a scenario of like, what's the worst case scenario here? Seriously, like consider what's the worst case scenario here. My thing, for example, I've been beating around the bush of like creating my first ad and actually putting money into it. What is actually the worst thing that happens? The worst thing that happens for me is like, oh, I lose $20 a day. And that's just a feeling, like I make that money back. Can I survive that? Yes. Like, can I click the button? Yes. Like, what's the word? Am I going to wake up tomorrow? Yes. Am I going to break a bone? No. Like, am I going to be in a life-death situation? No. Like, the worst that can happen is me just being disappointed with the results of that, and I'll just go and do something else. So maybe thinking about a task you've been putting off or been procrastinating about, just give yourself the worst case scenario. And if you can give yourself a guarantee for bouncing back from that, then you already know what you're going to do when the worst case scenario happens. And then being aware that that's a 50-50 chance that actually doing that task can result in that. But the other 50% is that it goes freaking awesome. And then you can work from that. So the worst that can happen is disappointment. Number 6, my key takeaway here was a power sentence. Actually, a few things here in this one. My key takeaway all in one in this sentence is I worked out that I need to actually figure out a power sentence, and I'll explain that in a second. I worked out my purpose. I decided my value goal. I decided my dream. I decided my vision. This 3 days was just like me marinating in all these things and ideas because I was just surrounded by all this like energy, and I was just like, oh God, like I have a vision now. I have a goal now. But the one thing I haven't figured out yet is this power sentence. And I know I need it because for those of you who haven't heard of what the power sentence is, and I'm just learning this right now too. So we all have this power sentence where like, it's going to be a sentence that stops you in your tracks. And can you drop that and pick up a sentence that's actually going to get you moving? So for a lot of people, the power sentence is, I don't know. And the reason why it's a power sentence is because when you say, I don't know, you just you decide that you're going to sit yourself in this land of maybe and resistance and not taking action because it's safe. But safe can sometimes also be boring, and it's safe and you're not going to get any results from that. You're not going to get the result of disappointment, nor are you going to get the result of, holy shit, this works. So saying, I don't know is you just saying safe and actually not taking any action about it. And 3 months later, you're sitting there with like, I don't know still, but also I haven't done anything this past 3 months. I haven't gotten results in this past 3 months. You're setting yourself up for disappointment with that sentence, right? So for a lot of people, consider with the sentence of, I don't know, is that power sentence that stops you in your tracks and also doesn't get you anywhere. So the idea here is to drop that sentence and pick up a new sentence. And it might be, I don't know, but I'm going to find out. And it could be, I don't know, but I'm going to shelf this for now. I'm going to make a decision on this tomorrow. Okay. But that sentence cannot be something that actually, keeps you in this like maybe land of, oh, I'm safe. It's got to be drop that sentence and pick up something else that's actually going to get you in either direction. It's going to give you disappointment, or it's going to give you a result that you can work on that gets you toward, your ultimate goal. So pick up a sentence that actually gives you a result. It actually takes you in either direction, either one, because it's 50-50. It doesn't matter. You can go in a direction that gives you a result that is disappointment, or it can give you a result that takes you to the next place. Either way, I think both results is actually going to get you to the next step. So let's do that. Lesson and takeaway number 7, over-delivering. I love this. So she did this whole thing on stage where she presented this Chanel bag, and she gave us a story about it. And this Chanel bag, I think for all the ladies in the crowd who love bouginess and love bags and love Chanel, and she just put up this offer, an irresistible offer that she wants to offer for $10. And slowly all these women started to walk up to the stage with $10 in cash because they wanted this bag, and they crawled for it, whatever. And a lady from Australia picked up this bag, gave Brooke $10, and that was it. And later then, Brooke announced that this bag was worth $10,000. And then she proceeded to say, you know, she was good at what she does best or what she's proud of doing. She over-delivers. So she was like, check out what's in the bag. So the lady opens up the bag and there's $500 in it. So not only this is $10 with this $10,000 Chanel bag, Brooke had an extra $500 in this bag. And later, I think one of the last presenters also was talking about how do we over deliver on something? And it's thinking about ways that when you give something to your client or customer, what would make them think, oh, this is so cool. This is so cool. And so I think the whole concept of what would be so cool, you know, what would a client say, this is so cool in my offer. So in the, you know, entrepreneur blend that I create, in the next like journal that I sell, what can I do to make the receiver think, oh, that's so cool. This is so cool. Like I got more than I expected to receive. Whether it comes down to like branding or packaging or, you know, a free coupon for something or a QR code for something. I don't know. Just anything that would make your person think this is so cool. The 8th takeaway I took out from the conference is the future you. So I've talked about this before of going to your future self and listening to your future self. But I think one of the greatest takeaways was just this concept of the future you knows. And when you're sitting there, when you have days where you're sitting there and kind of thinking like, oh, like I'm feeling kind of down. I don't know what to do. I feel lost. I don't know how to answer this question. I don't know what work I need to do. I don't know what the next step is for me. Go to your future self. And this is why the visualization part is important too, because when you're visualizing, you're imagining yourself and the potential in yourself, and your imagination is the possibility, right? And when you can do this visualization and visualize yourself there too, when you're in your present self and you're sitting there not knowing, go to your future self, because your future self knows what you did. Your future self can be like, Jules, like you did this today. You decided to be great today. You decided to like just do that podcast anyway. You decided that's hard, but you do it anyway. And so just think like, what would your future self tell you? And if you're having trouble thinking of what your future self would tell you, do more visualization. Okay, do more visualization. So this also is paired with this I decided language. And I decided this too for this takeaway, that my takeaway would be I decided. And so I walked around this morning too, just waking up thinking like, I decided this, I decided this, I decided this. I decided I'm not going to eat, you know, this junk food anymore. I decided I'm going to have green tea instead of coffee today. I decided I'm going to go for a walk at 10 minutes instead. So this is I decided language playing in my head now ever since coming back. And I love it because it just means that it's the future Jules talking right now, and I need to be this future Jules person right now. I'm borrowing that person. I tried to do that before the event and it was sort of like warming up my mind, and now I'm coming back for it. I'm like, heck yeah, I'm living my future self right now. Freaking love it. It's empowering. It's great. It's positive, and I don't even think about my environment anymore. That has been a big issue for me. I'm going to talk about that topic in another podcast about seasonal affective disorder, because that has been something I suffered from a while. So in my quest to make every podcast under 20 minutes, I'm going to try and tell you the next two in under 5 minutes. Okay, let's say we're 8.5 minutes now. Number 9, working on your goals isn't hard. Thinking about your goals is hard. I love this because when I look back, when I reflect on this, and I reflect on like all the things I've been doing to build my brand, you know, create the first product, create a logo, create all that stuff, it was actually easy to do all that stuff. It's the thinking about it that was hard. Because when I, you know, was able to, all the resources are at our fingertips. We can easily write a message to someone. I can easily go to fiverr.com. I can easily create a logo campaign. I can easily, you know, everything is learnable. Everything is easy to learn. Like Google's right there, right? So everything is actually easy to do. It's actually our thinking about it which makes it hard. We think something hard. We think ourselves into it being hard. But the actual thing isn't actually hard. You know what's hard? Living in poverty. You know what's hard? Not having a parent. You know what's hard? Not having food on the table. That's hard. Not being able to, if you've broken a limb and you can't get out of the hospital, but you actually can't. If you are suffering from a disease or you're going through surgery, that's hard stuff. The emotional barriers are hard. But the actual tasks at hand you might have right now, they aren't hard. It's your thinking about it that's hard. It's your thinking about that's hard. And so my takeaway from this is actually spending more time managing my ability to control my thinking about tasks. But then actually doing it is actually easy. So I'll let you know how that goes. Okay, number 10 takeaway is not letting my bullshit thoughts get in the way. You just want, what did I write here? Want to believe in what I write there. My goodness, my brain doesn't even make sense. Okay, so, the idea was not letting your bullshit thoughts get in the way and creating new evidence for what you actually want to believe in. So this is another reason why we beat around the bush with the one thing we're supposed to do every day. We write down our goals and write down the 3 things that we need to do, or we have this one thing that we want to do in the day. And I'm thinking about a friend right now. There's actually a few people I've been thinking about right now who tells me they have this one thing they want to do and they know they have to do it, including myself. I had sat with myself with I've got to sell journals. I've been telling myself I got to sell journals every day for the past month, kid you not. And I would do everything around that, thinking that, this is all going to help me sell the journal. This is all going to help me do it. But I know that the one thing I need to do is create a damn ad and create a Facebook ad with it and put money into it and press activate ad. But I still don't do it. And it's a bullshit thought. So, and I think the thing is because I don't have evidence for me succeeding in this. I don't have evidence for me succeeding in this. And this is one of the reasons why we beat around the bush with the one thing that we're meant to do every day and we don't do it for the longest time. It's because we don't have evidence for us succeeding in it. And that is why we beat around it. So my new, power thought with this is I actually added this to my sentence every day that I'm going to just say every morning to myself, kind of like an affirmation. I'm going to create new evidence for what I want to believe in. Okay, I'm going to create evidence for what I believe in. I believe my ad is going to be successful, but I won't do it until I create evidence for it, which means I actually need to just do the damn ad, right? So create evidence, create new evidence for what you believe in, create new evidence for that task that you said you're going to do. The only way to create evidence is actually by bloody doing it, okay? Okay, so those are my 10 key takeaways from Brooke Castillo's Life Coach Live event. And I'm going to add this extra one in here because as I got going with writing my 10, I had one more. And it's kind of like an ultimate one that struck me from the beginning of the event to leaving the event, to landing back in Calgary, to sitting back down at my desk, to waking up this morning. If you want to change your life, you have to change your life. It's so good to hear this and tell myself this as well, because the only way that I can change my life is to change my life. The only way you can change your life is to change your life. Which just means that you're not going to change your life if you don't change your life. And it just speaks to everything. Whether it's getting up in the morning, setting an alarm for yourself. If you want to get up at 7 every day, the only way you can actually get up at 7 every day is getting up at 7 every day. You just have to actually do it. So thinking about it is hard. Actually doing it is not. Okay, so thinking about it is the hard part. Actually doing it is not hard. And I actually got up at 7 o'clock today, and it's because my thinking about it has been I'm tired, or I think I need extra more sleep. No, that's just the way I'm thinking about it. But actually doing it, getting up, going to the bathroom, going to wash my face, and sitting back down at 7:10, getting changed or whatever, that wasn't hard. That was just a human thing. I actually could get myself out of bed. That wasn't hard at all. So if you want to change your life, you have to change your life. And I'm going to also end this podcast by telling you that possibility comes from your future, and your future comes from imagination. So let yourself imagine every day. I don't think as adults that we allow ourselves or tell ourselves that we need to give permission for ourselves to imagine. We sort of think that, that's what we did as a child. We imagined. No, imagination is in every second of our lives, no matter how old we are, no matter what career we're in, no matter what position we're in. Imagination is what lends us the ability to experience joy and happiness and wealth and health in our lives. Because if you imagine your next goal, your next step, what you want to do, you're already visualizing it. I don't know if you guys realize this, but like, if you think about what you want to do, like, oh, I want to go like ice skating with my friends tomorrow. Oh, I want to go to the movies with my mum. Oh, I want to go call my mum today. Oh, I want to go visit my parents in Australia, wherever it is. Whatever you said, like, oh, I want to do this, you are actually already imagining yourself doing it. You're not just saying it, because when you say something like that, like, I want to go have dinner tonight, you're not actually just saying it. What's happening in your brain is that you're actually visualizing it and imagining yourself going to dinner. And so don't forget the fact that there is still this, this child trait in you that you are imagining. We imagine as humans. We dream as humans. Right? Like, a lot of people say, like, oh, like, imagination is for children, like, because they draw and they play and they're curious, they ask questions. They're doing all this imagination. But you are too. You still dream as an adult. You still think as an adult. You still visualize as an adult. You still have goals as an adult. You still say, I want, as an adult. Don't we all do that when we're children or when we're kids? You say I want all the time. Like, I want candy, I want to play, I want to sleep, or I want to stay home, I want to go with my mom, I want to go play. Like, we still say I want every day. As adults, we say I want, which means we have the capacity to imagine. We have the capacity to imagine. So allow yourself to imagine and do more things in your day that let you imagine. That's why I encourage just having like a blank paper, whatever it is. Like, I have a journal that I write in, which helps me just get things out of my brain to paper. But the thing that actually helps me thrive in my day is actually having just blank paper. I have a blank notepad because it allows me to imagine, it allows me to just create. Think of what gives you joy, and just I don't know, just think of tasks that help you get in touch with your imagination. You need to let your mind explore, do Sudoku, do some coloring, do a Rubik's Cube, go and play in the playground. Like, who cares? Like, go and do things that let your imagination run wild. And sometimes that includes changing your environment. Oh my goodness, like, environment is going to be a whole other topic that I want to introduce into a course and whatnot. But having that space to imagine, you need to actually give your brain the ability to imagine. Going for a run, doing something different, eating different food, talking to someone different, introducing yourself, getting out of your comfort zone, doing something different every day, deciding to make decisions that you've never made before. That lens and that taps into your imagination, and you can start imagining out loud through your vision, everything. So that is what I'm going to end this podcast with today, friends, is to let your imagination run wild and to just give yourself the ability to imagine. Do more things that help you imagine, guys. Do more things that help you imagine. So there's my 10. I'm actually going to go away and create actually in-depth training and courses about this. And I don't know what it is going to be right now. Right now, I'm imagining like a website and a webinar or something like that. So that's going to be something that I release in this underneath my entire brand and also my physical product as well. I'm working on. So I've got a prototype coming for a morning blend, which allows us to get up. But I think all this digital stuff is creating a course and training for people. So if you want to, stay up to date with that and see when that actually gets released, you can sign up on my website. It's glimmersofhope.com with a Z. So that's glimmers, GLIMMERZ of hope.com. I will put the website in the show notes for you so you can access. And this is, again, our podcast that is greater than 20 minutes. So I hope that all helps you though. The 10 key takeaways from Brooke Castillo's Life Coach Live. I definitely encourage you to check that out. If you don't know who Brooke Castillo is, she has amazing podcasts that can help you with managing your brain and all these thoughts. So hopefully I brought that into a different, perspective and phrase for you. I will leave you with that today, and I will look forward to speaking to you in the next podcast. Have an amazing day, be amazing, and achieve that all you want to achieve, and keep imagining. Bye, guys.